In this video, we are going to make one of the most popular keto desserts on my blog over at carriebrown.com, and that is Cappuccino Mousse. And so many people love coffee on keto, it's a staple. So I took that idea and turned it into a delicious, easy dessert that you can knock up very simply and have something really delicious to end your meals. So here, the first thing we need to do, we're using gelatin. If you've never used gelatin and that scares the bejesus out of you, don't panic, because I did a whole video just on how to use gelatin. It's not a very long video, but it does go over the key points to make sure that you are successful every time you use gelatin. So go check out the how to use gelatin video if you haven't seen it already, and then come back and follow this one. So we've got our dish. We're going to put our cold water in it. We are going to carefully sprinkle our gelatin over the surface. This technique is called blooming gelatin, and we're just going to leave that, actually we'll leave it over here, to do its thing. Now, in this pan, spatula, I have hot water. The quantities of ingredients are in the link below, so you can go there for that. And I am going to add the espresso powder, the sea salt, the sweetener, and I'm going to give these a good stir over a low heat until they're fully dissolved. There was, relative to the amount of water, there was a lot of sweetener relative to the water. So it's going to take a little bit of heat and a little bit of stirring until all that sweetener is dissolved. Now, while I'm doing that, the gelatin needs to soak for about 5 minutes. So you can be busy over here getting this ready. The other thing that we're going to need is cream cheese. And this is probably my top tip for this recipe, is plan ahead. Get your cream cheese out the night before you're going to make it. Or if you're making it in the evening, get it out in the morning so that your cream cheese has a chance to soften. That, I promise you, makes this recipe so much easier, just having softened cream cheese to work with instead of cold out of the fridge cream cheese. That is my top tip for this recipe for getting a fantastic result and also not getting wildly frustrated. The other thing you can do, if you have a microwave, you can put your cream cheese on the very lowest power setting for a couple of minutes, which will also, if you've forgotten to get it out of the fridge, which will also nicely soften it down. Okay, so I can feel now that all of the sweetener has dissolved and it's really well stirred in. So I am going to turn the heat off. My gelatin is not quite ready. My cream cheese is. So while we are waiting for the gelatin to finish blooming, I am going to start to further soften our cream cheese. So I've got our cream cheese in our bowl, and I'm just going to okay, now that is nice and soft. So when we come to the next stage of the recipe, that will go really fast and really easy now. So we're just waiting a couple more minutes for our gelatin. So there's another step you can do while you're waiting, and that is to whip our heavy cream. So I'm going to move that aside. I've got my heavy cream here. And I'm actually going to use, although this can get a little bit messy, but I'm actually going to use this gadget to whip my cream. Which is, as I suspected, making a bit of a mess. Once air starts getting into it, it will stop splattering. It doesn't make as much of a mess if you use the hand mixer. And there we have our heavy cream whipped to stiff peak. Now, if you are laughing at my mess, I am laughing with you. I'm just going to wipe up this cream. Now, if you are new to the kitchen or have relied on pre-whipped cream that comes in a can up till now, and you want to get the real ins and outs about whipping cream, then there's a video for that. Just go to the how to whip cream video, and that explains to you in detail all about whipping cream. Okay, that's cleaned my mess up. Okay, so our gelatin is now bloomed. So what we are going to do is we are going to add the soaked gelatin to the mixture in the pan. Make sure it's all in there. Once you've got your soaked gelatin in, the coffee mixture will still be hot enough to melt it. You just want to mix your coffee mixture to make sure that the gelatin is completely dissolved and mixed in. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to start putting all of our pieces together. So I've got my cream cheese, it's very soft. Then I'm going to add the coffee mixture to the cream cheese a little bit at a time and then beat well in between each addition. Now I'm going to stop here for just a second and I'm going to scrape everything that's come up the sides into the bottom. You'll make sure that everything gets mixed in really well. The reason you don't want to pour all the coffee in at one time is you will have a big mess and it will actually be a lot more difficult to incorporate the coffee mixture into the cream cheese. So you do want to do it just for the good of your frustration and ease of getting this done. I highly recommend that you do it a step by step, not tip all the coffee in at once. after you've put the last batch of coffee in, I just recommend doing what I did and giving it a big old whiz with the mixer to make sure that it's completely combined. The last stage is adding our whipped cream. So for this, you want to fold the cream into the coffee mixture. And if you don't know what folding is, I have a video for that. So if you head over and check out the how to fold video, that will go into the detail of how that works so that you can understand what the what's, where's and why fors. So check over the how to fold before I do this part, but then I am just going to start folding and again, you want to do this step by step, not all at once. It's much easier to incorporate if you do this step by step. The key thing here is that you don't want to beat it because you will lose all of your air that you've so carefully just whipped into your cream. A mousse is designed or is supposed to have a light and airy texture. So you do not want to knock the air out. Use this one just to get all my cream out. However, even if you knock all of your air out of your mousse because you're in a hurry or you're heavy-handed or you're just new to this whole cooking thing, all is not lost, because although it may be dense and not very mousse-like in consistency, it will still taste fantastic. So this part, definitely you don't want to do this with anything heavier than your arm and a spoon. And it's worth taking the extra minute or two just to do this so that you get the beautiful, light, fluffy texture of this cappuccino mousse. So that's just about there. When you can't see any more lumps of cream. You are done. Now, give me a sec and I'll get some dishes. Actually, not dishes, but cups. One of the ways I love to serve this cappuccino mousse is in a cup, or little espresso cups, or a teacup, or something like that, just because it's cappuccino mousse. So that makes me happy. So, and these were some really cool new glass mugs I got at IKEA. Of course, they cost about 50 cents, but I love the shape of them. So just to show you what you do at this point is you just want to spoon your mousse into whatever dishes, mugs, whatever you prefer. This is actually very rich, so you probably don't want to fill the mug up. This is a fantastic dessert for a dinner party. You can make it ahead. You can make it the morning of, the day before, 2 days before. Once you've put them in the fridge to set, and it is intended that you don't eat this all now, but you put them in the fridge for 4 hours, at least 4 hours, until it sets into the mousse consistency. Once you've done that, if you cover them with plastic wrap or put them in an stand them in a bigger airtight container, they can keep in the fridge for 4 or 5 days. So if you having people over, you want to make these in advance, you totally can. The other great thing about this is, of course, they're essentially fat bombs, so you can make a batch of this in advance. You can put it in small individual portions and then cover them, get 1 out per night to finish off your meal. They're already pre-portioned, so you're not likely to overeat it. So whether you're making this just for you and your family to enjoy, whether you're making this as part of a celebratory meal, I promise you that people are absolutely going to love this mousse. The texture, it's very soft, but it's definitely a mousse. And so now these go in the fridge for 4 hours, and then you can enjoy your mousse. Right now, I'm just going to remind myself how delicious it is. Oh, heaven, heaven. Enjoy.